Hey there, American Farmsteadhers. This is Jenny with the Grimstead Family Farm.
And Donna with Hazelbell Farm.
And we are coming to y'all from Northeast Florida as two American Farmsteadhers doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you would grow a little food of your own.
Yep. And this week we are talking with our friend John Byron. Moringa John, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm well. Good to see you.
Good. We met John at Scrub Fest last year.
Yep.
And he started giving us the details on growing moringa. And admittedly, we're a little bit in the dark on this subject and so excited to learn more. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Really good to be here.
Good deal. I hate to admit it, but I actually have some moringa seeds that have been sitting in my seed cabinet now for like 2 years that came from Emily's mom's tree.
Uh-huh.
And they're supposed to be amazing seeds, and I just have never started them. So this is going to be my motivator.
Awesome. Well, that makes my time complete.
Oh, good. Good. Well, tell us why somebody would want to grow moringa. What is it, and what is the magic behind this? My husband loves TikTok, and he came to me recently and said, hey, that stuff that you want to do something with, that moringa stuff, it's the tree of life. So
Awesome. How awesome. Yeah, there are many names for it. Tree of life, drumstick tree, horseradish tree, and they relate to different parts of it. Moringa's been grown for thousands of years. It's native to the bottom of the Andes Mountains. It's an Asian plant. Historically, that's how they've traced it back. And doing a little digging, I came across an Egypt encyclopedia and I said, I wonder. And so I looked in, and it actually was heavily used in Egypt. It was so popular, they imported excess from Syria just to supply the demand in Egypt.
Wow.
Yeah. More notably, it's in Ayurvedic medicine, the ancient Indian healing tradition, and it's in their books as a treatment or a cure for over 300 conditions.
Wow.
Imagine being a healer 3,000 years ago and writing moringa down 300 times in your textbook.
Wow.
It's been around forever. More impressively for us, as we've modernized agriculture, it's been discovered that moringa has stunning nutritional benefits for all of our farm animals as well as for ourselves as humans. And that's really the number one way that people mostly get introduced to moringa, is someone has used it and they no longer have arthritis, or they've reduced their need for pharmaceuticals, which we won't say any more about because we don't want black coming up around us. But it has a stunning nutritional component to it, and it's all bioavailable. So it allows us all to heal naturally, animals and humans.
Awesome. Yeah, I have heard stories about it being such an anti-inflammatory that people have completely, quote unquote, healed their arthritis, or I guess they have eliminated their symptoms and the pain that comes with that. Yeah,
it's stunning for diabetics. It has anti-cancer properties, antibacterial properties, antiviral properties. It is one of Earth's most nutrient-dense plants, also for the nutritional component. Well grown, it can contain over 90 vitamins and minerals. Moringa has up to 46 antioxidants. So when you were talking about the antioxidant value, on the charts, it's one of the highest on Earth. And it's the only plant grown in terra firma that can produce all 9 essential amino acids to make complete protein. It's the only edible leaf that you don't need to combine with others for the amino acid profile to get your protein source.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's cool.
Right.
No idea.
And for us as homesteaders and farmers, it's super fast growing, and it's also perennial. Plant once, enjoy forever.
Mm-hmm.
As a workhorse on the farm, it can be any of your permaculture canopies. If
Okay.
you coppice and trim it, you can have primary canopy for shade. You can have secondary canopy for uses interspersed throughout your food forest. And you can also grow it for its leaf production in a very intensive way, intensive planting, and cut very short in a small amount of space. You can produce massive volumes of leaf and tender stem. And that's really exciting too. So if you want a living fence or a windbreak, moringa, why not grow the most nutritious tree that we have on earth and have it do these multiple functions?
Yeah.
Right.
In North Florida, we can get 3 harvests per grow season off of our leaf production plots, which is really exciting. You can't do that with tomatoes or corn or beans, you know? Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how do you harvest moringa? I mean, is it harvested in different ways depending upon what you want to do with it?
I think so. Some people will use different applications. Industrially, in the larger farms in India and China and in Africa, they're trying to discover new ways of mechanizing that process to make it more efficient, much like a corn harvester would go through the field.
Right.
What I do in my plots is I just take my clippers and go along. For the larger trees, you can just walk up to a tree and just snap the branches. It is a softwood. It's really easy to deal with. And when I went to Moringa school in California, that's what we did. We just snapped branches and then took a saw to the center stalk for when it was time to cut that down.
Okay. So I thought I misunderstood your question. I thought you were asking what parts of the tree are edible, and
that too, because I noticed you mentioned the tender stems.
Right.
Is that part of what you're harvesting and using? The stems and the leaves?
For human consumption, it's really mostly used. We mostly use the leaves. But also in the more mature trees, it has massive amounts of flowers that look like these gorgeous white orchids with little orange centers. I don't know if you've seen the photos. And then those turn into the seed pods, which is where it gets its name, the drumstick tree. Long pods, 12 to 18 inches long. And a mature tree in the right environment can produce up to 300 pods per season. And that's where we'll find 12 to 15 seeds in the pod. Yeah. And young, they're edible. In fact, in the Philippines, you can get them in grocery stores canned, like we have canned asparagus. They have canned moringa pods.
Really?
They kind of look like yard long beans, like noodle beans when they're young.
Yeah, they're crunchy and they have a really mild flavor like asparagus.
Oh, wow. I had no idea that the pods were edible like that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool. So it kind of does a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Okay. I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, but when we met you at Scrubfest, you shared with me about growing plots for the homestead. And what caught my attention is because I'm a small dairy producer here for our local community. And you gave me some numbers that just blew my mind as far as dairy production. And so share with us a little bit how people are able to grow for livestock fodder.
Typically, the livestock grows are done intensively for what's called green matter production. Some studies will remove just the leaves, and most of them do the tender stems at about 2 feet in height, and it'll get continuously harvested for this green matter production. But as far as adding this moringa, you can do it at levels of 10, 15, 20, and 30% of your hay additive. And studies have shown that moringa can increase the lactation of any mammal up to 35% increase in milk production.
It's crazy.
Crazy increase, right?
Yeah.
I have to just mention that some of these studies are done in areas where they don't have a lot of resources. There might be some malnutrition in the animals, et cetera. So the increases may jump up huge for those animals. But in all of the studies I've read, there's also really lean weight gain in the young cows and sheep and goats. They also increase the lean muscle mass.
Okay.
They believe it's because of the high nutritional value of the moringa itself. But it works in birds too, chickens, ducks, geese. And this additive is so nutritious that now the studies all the way through PhD level are investigating supplementing our fish feed for our aquaponic systems and our fish farms, because currently there's a lot of toxicity going on in the fish industry that we have to mitigate.
That's pretty cool.
Right?
It really is a magical tree.
Nature's perfect multivitamin. I mean, even fish are getting into moringa. Like,
it's a miracle plant. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. That's
right.
That's awesome.
And it's heavily used also for human consumption in areas that don't have a lot of resources. NGOs can bring in seeds and people to help them get the farming going and get it introduced. And increases in baby weight, mother health has been increased, and now they have a product to sell, so now they have an income. So we can build more schools, build wells, and things of that nature just by using the one plant.
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah. So talk to me about starting these seeds. I need to start some seeds.
They're easy.
Are they
You
easy?
need to get your seeds in some soil. Yes, you do.
And that's it, right? You stick them in the soil and they just take off.
Yeah. So what's the best time of year
I just
to start
seeded
with?
about 500 right now. And I repotted a lot that didn't sell last year. Now they'll go into my pots and they'll resprout. But the seeds are really easy. You'll hear a lot of techniques for, doing it. Oh, crack the shell, take the shell off, soak it overnight, etc. And really, it's recommended that you just start with a nice seed starting mix. The secret, I think, is getting a nice deep pot or a nice, really deep tray. I mean, like 4 inches.
Okay.
Moringa is a taproot tree, and so it's just going to go straight down.
Okay.
In order to help that. And so you just get your mix, you get it nice and moist. You don't want it to go any further than an inch. Half inch to an inch is fine, even for the large seeds.
Okay.
And then just cover it with the soil. And you want to keep it moist but never wet. And that's one of the reasons why some people's moringa seeds might not take, is they're overwatering them and they get waterlogged and they don't activate.
Okay.
And then
I
you just wait. Yeah.
In compost pile.
Did you?
I did. Well, not a compost pile, but just fresh compost on a garden bed, like in my in-ground garden. And I had 3 seeds. They were old. I just had the space and had the seeds and said, let's try this. 2 of them came up. That was 2 years ago. And I lost one in the Christmas freeze last year. The other one died back and I cut it back last spring. And it's now this year, it's like, it has like 4 trunks to it. Yeah. I don't really know what else to do. I didn't coppice it like I should, but I didn't know. So I'm going to ask you for direction on that too. But as far as the starting seeds go, I just put 3 little seeds in the compost, watered them. 2 of them came up, and I was shocked.
Yeah. Everyone that I've experienced who's gone into the moringa is amazed at the real. It just has this striking vitality for wanting to grow and produce. Okay. And it's one of those plants that when you do coppice it, it comes back stronger.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you had experience of having the 4 trunks.
Yeah.
So moringa loves to be trimmed. It loves to bush out. The stronger the root ball and older the root ball gets, the more vitality returns to the above ground experience. As long as we keep the root ball intact without it freezing or getting too much water and getting fungal infection, no matter what happens above ground, moringa will just come back and show more abundance when the weather warms up.
Very nice.
Yeah. So your listeners should know that it is going to go dormant around 60 degrees temperature and below. So she's just going to hang out. And that's why I recommend anyone growing it before the temperatures really get to that level, take what I call final harvest. And that's where we take all of the leaf. We want all that leaf we can get all the branches and cut the center stalk down to about, 12 to 10 inches for newer growth. Some of the older growth trees, you can keep the primary laterals, and usually 3 feet is the general rule for an older tree. If you're in an area that freezes, as long as there's no permafrost, the root ball stays nice. You don't have to water it until springtime. Give it a little fertilizer, and bam, here comes Moringa again.
It comes right back. It really does.
With a vengeance, with an attitude almost.
Yeah. So, okay. So on that note, talk to me about, okay, I know what I've done wrong, but I don't know how to fix it. So I have this 4-trunk tree, basically. It's like 25, 30 feet tall. It has pods drying off of it that are up in the top of the tree.
Awesome.
So I'll cut it back when it starts to warm up and, the new growth is ready to come on. And I'll have all of that. I mean, it still has green leaves. We've had frost, we've had freeze, and it's still there. She's still standing.
Yeah.
So when I cut it back, how often should I be cutting it for leaf harvest?
In this area, I think 3 harvests per grow season is really reasonable. Some grows might produce more, but we could very easily expect that you could get 3 leaf harvests off of it.
Okay, and then if I want pods at the end of the growing season, at what point do I need to stop cutting?
So that's kind of different. For pod production, I recommend that we lop the trees to get them to bush for the first 6 to 9 months. Let that root ball establish, and then we're cutting it back again. And it all really depends on the tree and its flower production. But I don't recommend using the same tree for leaf and for pod to maximize.
So I need to plant more moringa.
What's that?
I need to plant more.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's something interesting. As a dietary supplement, it's a tablespoon of the dry powder per day per adult as your vitamin supplement. That equates, moringa fresh to dry is 6 to 1, basically. So it takes 6 tablespoons or a quarter cup fresh to equal the 1 tablespoon powder, right?
Okay.
So if we wanted to supplement every day for a year with moringa, we would need to produce 122.5 cups of moringa per adult per year. And so we kind of reverse engineer from there. So I recommend that if that is the goal initially, that each adult should have planted somewhere about 20 plants. And then we do some intensive grow with those, and then let a couple of them be the tree portion so that we can produce flowers and pods and then increase our grow from there.
Okay.
So with reverse engineering, we can kind of design a plan where it can go into the permaculture food forest, into the garden system. And even in gardening, I know people who've grown moringa just for chop and drop soil amendments, which is amazing. It grows so fast and you're chopping and dropping 3 times a year. Alley cropping is another great way to use it. Or you can moringa, and there are a lot of studies that use it with sweet potatoes and coffee, tea, beans, and it is a wonderful plant for that as the taproot breaks up soils underneath, releasing all those nutrients.
Right.
It really is a workhorse that I think all of your farmsteading friends should have at least 30 or 40 going, for not only our use, but for then we add our animals.
Right.
On an intensive thing, that sounds like a lot, but on an intensive plant, like my plot here, I have 2 10x5s. And in my first 10x5, I got about 75 moringa seeds planted in a little 50 square foot space.
That's totally doable.
Yeah.
So
that's
doable.
A lot of space.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the researchers who have experimented with it for green matter for animal production, they've gone tighter spacing than that. literally down to like 3 or 4 inches apart.
Wow.
And
How hard are yours?
one of my plants, I did 8, and then I increased it to 12 because I'm exploring in this area.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have, a nutritional concern over our soils here in Florida, it
Yeah.
being a big sandbar.
Yeah.
So that is
Right.
the one thing that I think is the biggest hurdle if anyone wanted to get into moringa is soil prep.
Right.
Okay.
So talk to us. Is it a heavy feeding plant?
Yeah, like other stuff in nature, if it's not in the soil, it really can't be in the plant. It's
Mhm.
still going to be awesome at converting what is there into its leaves and its stems. So the key to moringa is really getting a high nutritive value soil going, or at least trying to grow. I think
Okay.
interesting for the growers is that moringa's taproot, so you can easily have clovers and other types of plants all around your moringa grow, covering the soil, and then chopping that and just leaving it on top of the soil. So
Okay.
it doesn't really overcompete for nutrients on the surface level as it's
Mhm.
gone down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to know about its nutrient requirement, because in like a food forest application, that's not really what I have going on where my moringa tree is, but because I'm just not good at that. I want to be better at that, but I'm not good at that. But I do have some things planted around the base of my moringa. I think I have collard greens there, and I had potatoes in that bed last year, so there's like a rogue potato or two coming up. Nothing seems bothered by it yet. It doesn't seem to be stealing nutrients per se. Everything seems happy so far, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to last long term or not. I don't know if I need to give it more space or what.
Yeah, it sounds like it's doing great. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I
Right.
have read studies that did sweet potatoes and other surface kind of root crops. I think yucca was in one of them. Moringa does go straight down. When we plant for trees, we're digging minimum 2 feet into the soil to prepare it.
Okay.
Or if we're raking it in the field, it gets raked down to 3 feet, and then heavy applications of manure are turned in, and then it's just planted and left alone after that with annual additions. And you can fertilize with it if people prefer to go organic. You can use organic sprays, compost teas, worm casting teas, but as much nutrition as you can put into the soil for a moringa grow is really going to benefit the ability of it to produce more. But it's not necessary. Moringa grows in desert areas in Africa with very minimal amounts of water. So it's drought tolerant and can tolerate many different types of soil. The capacity of it to be so amazing in what it can produce, it kind of drives, if we can do more nutrition in the soil and all, but we don't need to get lost in this perfectionism before trying to grow it, because moringa just wants to be abundant for us all. So
Yeah.
my advice to everybody is just, get some seeds in the ground. If you have questions, you can contact me at Moringa John on Facebook. I'll help you design a grow. I have access to seedlings. I have seedling trays at a really great rate that we can talk about if you want to do 100 plants.
Right.
Plant once and enjoy forever, you and your animals.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty amazing feature right there. Anything that's just going to come back like that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Right? Can you imagine being a dairy farmer? And, even if you only got a 20% increase in your milk production,
Right.
and your feed that's going to do that comes back every year.
Right.
Get that with your hay and all the other stuff.
And that's the thing that really resonated with me, because we are, I mean, I never would have called myself a dairy farmer. I mean, we have dairy cows. I do milk cows and I do sell milk. But like my dairyman vet said, you do milk cows and you do sell milk. You're a dairy farmer. So very, very tiny scale dairy farmer. But we live on a sand mountain out here where we are. And we have a real hard time with grass. And all of our fields are overgrazed. Like it's just the way it is. It's very difficult to grow anything here. The land is not suited for cattle, but we had the cattle when we got here, and I'm not getting out of cattle anytime soon.
Right.
But moringa sounds like could be part of the answer to our problem with
very well
for growing feed here for the dairy cows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the grasses or even as its own row cropping system, I'm not sure. The applications are usually in other countries that the studies have been done. Unfortunately, because it is so advantageous, people who are profiting from other levels and other areas in production really don't want to see this moringa take over. I even saw a report once where it started to be introduced in another state where they wanted to make it illegal to grow moringa in that state. So we have to be aware that this pressure might come eventually if it really do take off.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Yeah. But it definitely, like you were saying, for your cow production, it can be done in many, many different ways. If you wanted to concentrate it in one area.
Right.
I think I would love to see someone experimenting with it as an additive to their silage as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be great to just put it into the hay areas and cut it down with and let it ferment and go from there.
Right.
But we really do need more people exploring with it and playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I love to be the trailblazer on stuff and play the figure it out game.
Let's play some trails, ladies.
Add that to my list this year.
Right.
My husband will be so excited.
Right. And I think the really fun thing is in a small area, you really can do an intensive grow and produce quite a bit.
Right.
And start playing with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that has my wheels turning. I got to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you could essentially just designate, because you'd have to keep it in an area to keep the cows out of it long enough for it to grow, and maybe just designate one end of your garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My wheels are turning.
So, while you're planning, put the grow in the northern spot if you don't want the shade, to hit your plants. A lot of folks in Florida need shade in the summer. Yeah, I think a nice tall moringa row to create some shade and help us grow a little bit longer would be a stunning application too.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've got one section of my garden that does get some of that afternoon shade, and a lot of times in the summer it does a lot better over there on that side. So full sun in Florida it's like no other.
Brutal. And here's another amazing thing about the moringa plant. It really demands full sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It wants 100% of all the sun you can throw at it. It grows great in like Arizona and Texas. It grows in Africa, places where other plants just really don't seem to be able to make it work. So what a gift for a Floridian,
It sounds like it's perfect for Florida.
Yeah. That's cool.
The only thing we have to be aware of is the water table, you guys, underneath. Florida's got so much water seeping up. We really don't want it to be in a place that has, an 18-inch water table, because that root ball will probably not last more than 2 or 3 years before it rots.
Hey, I'm on the sand mountain.
Good. You're in the clear here, where I'd have to be a little bit more picky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At my place.
Yeah. And also, you can grow it in containers if you want to. I have 3 50-gallon as an experiment, 50-gallon containers, and I filled them and I put 5 plants in each, and they have done amazing. They do so well. One of them wanted to be a giant and flower and pod. My first one, I wasn't trying, and it wanted to give me a seed pod. So I nurtured it like a little baby. And that tree in the course of 9 months got almost 18 feet tall out of the 50-gallon pot.
I believe it. I mean, like you said, it just has this desire to bring forth life. It really does. It's super cool. I mean, I have pretty much neglected mine, and it's thriving. Not just surviving, it's thriving. So yeah, it just brings me hope.
Yep.
That's
And then
cool.
you get all the uses from all the different products. Everything about the tree is not only edible, but it is medicinal. So as you
Right.
go down the rabbit hole, you can kind of discover the different things. But even as a homesteader, all of that branch and stalk material from all of that harvesting, now you've
Right.
got stakes for your tomatoes. You can make trellises for your beans, all kinds of really great things. It's great for making paper. The seeds can be used to purify and clarify water. If there's a big, magnetic strike and all the pumps go down, you can
Right.
put water through the seed cakes. We don't do much with the seed oil in areas where it's not super cold or we're not doing seed farming. But the oil's been used in cosmetics and for biodiesel and cooking for thousands of years. So
Wow.
have at it. Grow moringa, everybody.
If y'all can find John, Moringa John on Facebook, where is that the only place is that the best place people can find you?
Right now, yeah, I'm still trying to build my infrastructure and I'm not very talented with all of that.
The story of our lives, John. You're in good company.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all check out John. He's got lots of cool pictures. He's also going to be joining us at the American Farmstead Convention in May.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're looking for some moringa starts, come join us and get them from John.
Absolutely. Or if you just have questions, send them through you or to my Facebook group. I love to talk about moringa. So whatever's going on, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks,
Perfect.
John, for joining us. We appreciate you and your knowledge and sharing. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I'm going to get home and I'm going to dig out my seeds and I'm going to start them seeds.
Yep.
I think I have about 10.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm gonna start a whole plot.
What a great way to start a Monday, you guys.
All right. Thanks, John. We'll talk to you soon.
Much,
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.